How did you feel when you finally learned that you'd got the job in Maiden?
Relieved more than anything.
Because there was a bit for a while, where it was.
Well, I had to audition just the same as everybody else.
That's right.
So I was probably not. I just thought I didn't think really. I thought I had a chance as much as anybody else because I'm quite a determined person. But I thought, I'll never get it, because it's such a dream job. It's something that you think about it now. So I was just relieved more than anything that all the anxiety and worrying, think, will I get it? Won't I get it? What? So I just thought, it was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Just to make sure, it's me, yeah? You've found the right person, you sure? And then I just spent about 3 days getting completely drunk and staying drunk. So it was good. But it was a relief more than anything. And then after a while, I just felt really good about it.
Did you have to sing a lot of songs, or was it?
Well, I think we got to. It didn't seem like a lot. I remember the audition. It didn't seem like a lot of songs, but in fact, I think it was about 9 different numbers, and it was quite a cross section of Maiden material, with stuff like Hallowed, and Number of the Beast, and Clairvoyant, and Fear of the Dark. So it was all quite different stuff, that both Paul and Bruce had done. And I just remember being at the audition and thinking, well, even if I don't get it, at least I've got the chance to sing with Maiden and sing, 10 songs. And so I thought, well, I've got this far. I don't really care now. I'll just go for it and enjoy the fact that I'm actually singing with Iron Maiden. So it was good from that point of view, and it was really good. And we got to the end of it, and we were all looking at each other, going, "Isn't there any more? Was that it?" Because it just seemed to go like that, It seemed to be a real vibe in the room. Something was certainly clicking.
So when it came to actually settling in with a band, did it take a while to adjust to it, or was it a case of sort of like, we're in there, this is it?
I think it was there was a little bit of a limbo period until we actually started working together, because even though it was like I was in the band, we hadn't done anything together. There were no shows planned, and the first thing we were going to do was start writing this record. And I think I was quite nervous at the time, but as soon as I got together with Yannick, the ideas I was thinking, will this work with Maiden, and stuff like that, the ideas that I'd got, but it just slotted straight in. And then when I started working with Steve, it was great as well, because he started, the style that he writes and the way he constructs his melodies and his songs, he uses a part of my voice that I would never usually use, but it's a part I'm always looking for. So it's quite fulfilling in that respect, because even though I spent 9 years in Wolfsbane, my previous band, and we'd made 5 albums, there was certainly something as we'd gone on that I was trying to find more character and something more individual about my voice that maybe I just touched on sometimes. But when we started working together in Maiden, writing the songs, and as the arrangements started coming together, it really felt like something was coming out of me. I was pushing myself a lot further, and it was very, very satisfying.
Did it take a lot of rehearsing before you actually started recording all
that? Weirdest thing I've ever done, because we got the songs together, and it seemed like Steve and Yannick, and they would go, we'll do this. Okay, that's ready. I said, well, we've only recorded it on the dictaphone. Aren't we going to do any demos? Oh, no, we're not doing any demos. We'll just go in and, we'll get everybody else to learn the arrangements, and we'll just record it. And so we were in the studio. We'd rehearsed up the first song. Okay, and a bit of drumming here. What do you think goes there? La-di-da-di-da. And I don't think we'd even got through it once without messing it up. And they all just said, okay, shall we go for a take then? And I was saying, well, don't you think we should get through to the end without stopping? Oh no, just get the tape rolling. So we all went up and got the tape, and so like everybody's on edge going, But there was, I don't know, in a way, I think when you do demos, a lot of the time, you can lose the excitement of the song. And I think because the first time that we'd get it right, and it really worked, that was the take that we were going to use. There was a little bit of electricity there, certainly. So it worked really well. I mean, sometimes we'd get it right, and it just wouldn't feel. You would think, well, what's that all about? It's all played perfectly, but just lacks that little bit of energy or certain something. And then other times, it really clicked. So it was good from that point of view.
The album was co-produced by Steve with Nigel Green. I mean, Nigel's record speaks for itself. But what's Steve like to work for as a producer? Is he sort of a whip cracker, or does he sort of like just let everyone get on with it?
He's good and bad. It's it's like a tragedy comic love affair when Steve is producing and you're doing your part, because he will encourage you and he'll go, oh, that sounded good, but he will also, when he feels like it, or if he thinks the performance is there to come, he will make you do the same thing so many times until you forgot what it's about, But in essence, I'd say as a producer, he's really good because he never forgets what the song is about. He never looks at things from a purely technical thing, and he always makes you feel like the musician is more important than the equipment, which I think when you're in the studio, it's very easy for the technocrats to take over and say, oh yeah, we've got this computer doing that, we can use these effects, and forget that in essence what music is about, and especially the style of music that Maiden do, what that is about is actually reaching to people. It's speaking to people, and that's why I think the band has got, it's a live band because that's the ultimate place for that, for saying, when you're in on stage or when you're in a gig, then I think the vibe we've made, it's much less, it's not we are the band, you are the fans. I think it's more like, yeah, we're all here together to get the most out of tonight and really enjoy ourselves. So from that point of view, I think that Steve doesn't forget that when he's in the studio. And I really like working like that, because I always imagine when I'm singing, I always try and think, right, what's this going to be like live? When we're on stage, what's it going to be like? And I'm really looking forward to doing Sign of the Cross and some of the other ones live.
The new artwork is, although it said it's a radical departure from what I've done in the past. Was that a conscious decision when the artwork was being thought of, or did it just sort of like move that way?
Well, it was, I think, a conscious decision in one way. Certainly when not long after I joined the band and I was talking to Steve about what I thought about the artwork, I think we certainly thought along the same lines there, that there's no way you could really kill Eddie. I mean, after he's probably easily undead, so you're not going to be able to kill him off. And really, I really like Eddie, and I like what he stands for, and the kind of, the antagonistic dark side of what he represents. So you can't really lose Eddie, but as well, Eddie has to do something. He has to come from somewhere else. I mean, this is a new lineup, and it's going to be like hopefully a new beginning and for Maiden. So I think that was in our minds, and then the guy that they'd had a couple of things sent in that Steve had looked at and wasn't particularly impressed with, and then he phoned up the guy who finished up doing the artwork, and when they said, oh, we want you to come up with some ideas for the next Maiden album, he said, I've been waiting for this phone call for 5 years. So I thought, well, it's going to be good if he's been into the band and waiting to do it. So and it's come out really well. I think it's probably going to be quite controversial, but I don't think in all the time I've been following Maiden, I don't think they've ever shied away from controversy or being or confronting people.
Finally, the touring. I mean, after spending months recording, you must be looking forward to getting out on the road. stage show wise or presentation wise, how are you going to be different? How's it going to be different from like previous shows and singers' performance? Like I know you like your experiment with ear monitors and stuff like that. So is there anything you've sort of like thought about that?
I think what we're doing is we're certainly going to we're changing the monitor system on stage. Is one of the first things that we're doing, so that when we're playing small, we've got a monitor system that's going to take up less of the room on the stage, and also the PA, just as powerful. I think it's even a bit more. It's a bit louder, the PA that we're going to use, but it's going to be a bit smaller. So in fact, more people will be able to see us, and we'll have a bit more room on stage. And also, I think Maiden have the last couple of tours, they've like with No Prayer and stuff, they've stripped down and stripped it right down to backdrops and things like that. And I think there's certainly a feeling in the band now that we want to come out with a show and really say, yeah, we're here, and to give people something to look at, and a memorable evening with Iron Maiden, certainly. So I think it's going to be a very enthusiastic performances on tour. And we can't wait to get out there, really, because we've taken so long making the album and doing the promotion and everything. But by the time we do get out, it's just going to be insane. It's just going to be like one of those fairy story dragons lying asleep in the cave, waking up incredibly hungry, breathing fire. We're about to go and trash the local town and eat all the virgins. That's what it feels like at the moment. When we get out there, I'm sure it's going to be insane.